What up, Fallen Gamers? Fallen here, and today we're going to be making an English guide for the online MMO mobile game Azur. This game can be downloaded on the Android and iOS platforms, and this guide can be used for the Japanese and Chinese server, even for registration. Now, before I forget, what I'll be using for this English guide are two references online, which I have dubbed Azur Wiki number 1 and Azur Wiki number 2. Just real quick, I'm going to be putting in a timestamp on the main menu user interface of the game, which will signify in what part of the video I talk about that particular topic. So if you've already registered for the game, but you just want to know what the profile means, or what the main menu user interface means, or even how to just like way anchor, the different formations, and how to fight, or little suggestions, then you can skip to that part of the video. Now that I got that out of the way, we're going to go to how to register for the game. For the mobile registration and the online website registration, we all have to follow the exact same step: downloading the game. To show you how to download the game, we're going to be using Azur Wiki number 2 as well as another website for those little Android users who did not know how to enable third-party software to be downloaded onto their phones. As it shows here, you want to go to this link to download the game from the official site. Now, as a quick reminder for iOS users, this game is in the Chinese App Store, meaning if you are in the USA App Store, you cannot download this game unless you make an account for the Chinese App Store. For people using Android, you may put it on your Android phone or on a PC emulator running Android, which is what I'm doing for you today. Now, for those of you who do not know how to enable third-party software on the Android phone, we're going to go over that very quickly, where you can pause in the video and follow this website that I found. Here we go. You may want to pause whenever I switch an image. After enabling third-party software for an Android phone, you're going to want to put the APK file onto your phone or into your PC emulator. If you download it on the computer but you only have the phone, you have to transfer it from the computer to the phone unless you download it directly on the phone, where all you gotta do after outer step is done, you just want to click on the APK file and it'll automatically start downloading the game for you. Once the game is downloaded, it should look like this nice, lovely app, which is subject to change in the future. After opening up the app, you will have to download the updates for the game, which I highly recommend using your Wi-Fi, not data, because this is a very big game file. Unless you have unlimited data, then don't worry. But if you do not have limited data, just be mindful that it's over 200 megabytes. Now, to download the game through the official Baby Game website, we're going to be using Azur Wiki number 1. You can pause during this process, or you can listen to my very quick explanation on how to download the game. Now, once you get on the website, you're going to see this nice little picture. In the top right corner, there should be some of these nice, lovely looking characters. I don't know what to call them. It's in Chinese, and I'm going to call the symbols characters. After clicking on those characters, this page should load up, where you would then click this next set of characters. After clicking on that set of characters, you should be meeting up with this page right here, where you're going to type in an email address as well as typing in what is shown in the captcha box. But don't forget to tick this little box, which is basically you accepting to terms and agreements of services for your new account. Now, make sure your email is valid, because you will have to verify it. But once you type in your email as well as what is shown in this captcha box, please click this next. After clicking next, you want to go to your email to click the verification link that was sent to you. The email should look like this part that I'm highlighting. But once you click on the email and the link that is sent in there, you should be meeting up with this page right here. On this page is where you're going to make your account username as well as password. After making your account, you can then go back into the mobile app, where you'll type in your email, top bar, and your password in the second bar. And then you're good. For people who want to log into the game through the mobile app directly, I just have to warn you, even though I did this method, the very first one that pops up does not look like this. The first one that pops up will look like this, I do believe. Now, if I remember correctly, you want to hit this set of characters down here, the second one, which should take you to this window right here. If it doesn't, please click this first set of characters right here. Whichever one takes you to this window, you can then follow what we're going to go over real quick. Now, if you want to enter your phone number to make an account, you can do it in that very first window. But if you don't want to, please click this other set of characters right here where my mouse is. After clicking this set of characters, you should be met with this window down here, where you're basically going to type in your account username and password. After you do that, make sure to tick the little box, which is basically you accepting the terms, services, and conditions of your new Baby Game account. Click this little blue button, and it should take you to a few pop-up windows with your account name in it. Now, if it doesn't do that and it gives you these set of characters right here, then that means that the username already exists, so just change your username to something else. But after you click this blue button again and it takes you to a different pop-up screen, your account has now been made. And with these little pop-ups, I was a little confused. Your best thing to do is to close out the app and get back into it. where you should be met up with this window right here. In this window, just type in your username and password that you already made and you can log into the game. After making an account through the official BB Game website or for the mobile app, we're going to choose a server. Now, right here in Azur Lane Wiki number 2, it says that these set of servers right here for the Chinese and Japanese are the ones that are popular for, you know. Now that I am done explaining how to log into the Chinese server, I'm going to go over how to log into the Japanese server, which begins with downloading the game. Now, just as a quick reminder, if you're going to download the game through the official Japanese website for the App Store, if you're in America, you gotta have a Chinese, Japanese, whatever it's gonna call it. I think it calls it the Chinese App Store location. You gotta have a Chinese App Store account. If you do not have one, you're gonna have to make one. If you cannot make one, you cannot download the game on the iOS. For people who are gonna download the game on Android, you can download it onto your Android phone or through a PC emulator that's running Android. Now, if you don't know how to enable third-party software on your Android phone, we're gonna go over that very quickly with this at our website. You're going to want to follow the steps on this website really quick by pausing each still image. Now that you enabled third-party software on your Android phone, we will keep following this step by step. I'm going to read this really quick and I'll be right back with you. Before I forget, if you downloaded the game on the PC but have an Android phone, just hook up your charger to the PC and move the file over to the phone. The moment you click on the APK file, it should automatically start downloading the game. Now for the PC emulator, just move it into your emulator or right click it and run with whatever emulator you're doing. It should automatically download the game as well. After reading this, it doesn't seem you need to register an account to log into the Japanese server. So all you have to do is open up the app after you're done downloading it, then download the updates that come with it, which is over 200 megabytes, so if you're running on the data, please turn to Wi-Fi before updating the game. Once the updates are done downloading, you should immediately be taken to the server list, which I will bring up here. Once your server list is pop up, Azur Lane Wiki number 2 has some suggestions for the server to pick if you want to be in a server with the majority of English-speaking players in it. Now, I'm not for sure if this is accurate or not, but if you want to try your luck, then please log into the server right here to see if you can get the most English players, or log into these other servers right here. Now remember, this is subject to change in the future. Now that I show you how to register for the game for the Chinese and the Japanese server, you should immediately be brought up with a prolonged scenario for both servers. After you skip through the scenario or read it, if you understand Chinese or Japanese, depending on which server you're on, you should be brought up with 3 starter ships. Now, there is a little difference, which I'll show you really quick. This is what the 3 Chinese starter ships should look like. This is what the 3 Japanese starter ships should look like. From this point on, the Chinese and the Japanese server is exactly the same, so you can use my English guidebook for either one of the servers, even though I'm using the Chinese server as my example. So, after you pick your starter girl, which you can click on the starter girl to view her stats, and if you don't like her, you can click the silver button to go back and choose another girl. But after you pick your girl, you should be met up with this window right here where you're going to pick your nickname. You can choose whatever. I pick FallenA because, you know, that's my YouTube channel and that's what I go by. After selecting a nickname for yourself, the game will take you through a tutorial. If you think the tutorial is good enough for you, you can stop watching this video here. But if you want to know what everything on the interface means as far as in English, then you may continue watching with the timestamps I previously mentioned at the very beginning of this video. Now, if you didn't think the tutorial was good enough for you, or you're just like, what the heck does everything mean in English? Well, this is where we're going to continue with the main menu user interface. Now, just real quick right off the back, I know this little red notification button over here might be just like, what does it do? Well, we're going to open this up, and all this is showing the 2 buildings in the academy, which is like your resource mining buildings. So for gold, you have the merchant. Over time, it gives you gold. And for oil, which is like your stamina in a game where once you use up so much of the oil, you can't play no more. This building makes some good old oil for you. Now down here are commissions. And what commissions are is you send a very specific group of girls out to do whatever for some amount of time. They bring back the resources that it shows. So in this case, I brought out 2 people on commissions. One is still going out, as you see here. It'll take about an hour, 58 minutes for them to come back. These people right here are done, so I'm going to click on it. As you can see, these 2 girls right here have finished the mission and they gave me these resources. And now it's showing a little sleeping symbol because everyone's asleep and no one's doing the mission. It just shows you that you have a free slot to send more girls out on the mission. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to show you what these little 6 buttons up here does, starting with the options. After you know the options menu right here, we're going to go on Azur lane, wiki number 1. The first button in the options shows you where to type in any reward codes you may have for the game. The second, push display settings, which is, this is the present one right here. Azur lane, wiki number 1 shows an older one. This will show you pretty much what some of the buttons mean. Now, I know this doesn't go over all of them, therefore I'm not going to put English translations for what each one of these do. But for the most part, you want them all on. On the third button, it brings up your interface in the battle. This is where you can change around some of the settings. For example, if I click this silver button and then click this yellow button, this will reset my settings, which I wish I kind of didn't do. But that's just to show you what it would do. Now, if you click this yellow button, you may move the little buttons around however you want. I'm going to put it back how I used to have it. Now, I believe this is how I have it, so I hope I'm right. But that's how you pretty much change it. Y'all guys will know for sure if I was really close or if I was dead on accurate. I'm doubtful I was. For the fourth button, this displays audio sounds, audio volume. Everything here is pretty much translated, which is nice. So this is background music, sound effect, character voice. The only one that's not translated is this audio patch right here. You may click this icon right here to download the latest voice patch. Now, for the fifth button right here, this logs you out of the game. So don't think this will delete your account or nothing. I know in Azur lane wiki number 2 it says it deletes the account or something, but it doesn't. It just logs you out of the game. And for example, I'll log myself out right now. Now we're brought back up to the main menu, and I'll log in real quick. I just logged into the game, and it brought up this little announcement thing here, which is the very second button on the top of these little 6 buttons. So yep, there you go, the exact thing that just popped up in my face as soon as I logged in. Now this third button here is mail. Right now in my mailbox, I got 3 items which I've already claimed. And you hit this yellow button to claim all your little objects. You hit the silver button, which pretty much deletes everything that you already claimed. This fourth button here is your friends list. Now, I have someone here as a friend. I don't actually know him. I just got a request from them, and I was like, that'd be a great example for his English guide. But once you get a request from somebody, it will show up in this third button right here. Now, if you want to add some random stranger from your server as your friend, you may do so with the second button where you could click this little add symbol right here to just send them a request, and it'll decide to add your random self. Now, if you want more variety, you may click the second button up here to refresh this whole page, and now you have a bunch of more strangers you can add as a friend. But if you're on a server that you do have a friend with, you want to type in the code that's presented where this black bar is. I only have this black bar here to protect my own ID number, so you can't just send me a whole bunch of requests. But their ID number will show up here as well as the profile, and you would type into the search bar and click this button, and it should bring up their profile where you can add them as a friend. Now this fourth button here, I do believe is when you block someone. If you block someone and you click whatever up here, you'll unblock them. I do believe, I'm not for sure what the fourth button is. The only reason why it cannot be a delete button is because on the first button you have delete right here. Now you also have chat and home, but since these are English worded, you can pretty much see what that means. Chat, for example, will just let me talk to this person up here, and home will bring me to my friend's little home right here, which is called the backyard, and we'll go over this later in the video. But for right now, he has a pretty cool little backyard. You can see your friend's backyard as well as their little happiness bar and what floor you're on. Now for the fifth button up here, this is the ranking. I'm not going to click on it. All the ranking is, it will tell you who the top player in your server is in 4 different categories. The 4 different categories being Fleet Strength, Collect Ranking, Military Ranking, and Activity Ranking. For the 6th button up here is the Collections tab, where it shows you all the girls you have collected. So for example, I have these 3 girls collected, but this is grayed out, and the reason why it's grayed out is explained. Azur lane wiki number 2, where it explains right here that for you to get the first tier reward, you just need to unlock the girls. But for the second tier, you need all the girls to undergo a second limit break, which we'll go over later in the video, and a final tier will be unlocked in once they hit their maximum star rating, which I assume is hitting all the limit breakings. And just to show you what they mean by tier rewards, if I click on this grayed out button right here, which I am clicking, oh, well, don't click this button, don't be what I just did, just click right here. you can see that I claimed my first little tier reward. But since I have not limit break any of them to their second limit break, I don't get the second tier reward. And since they're not maxed out, I don't get this tier reward that's not even existent. So if I did have them maxed out, I would have to wait until it comes out. But this one's out, so this is what it gets you if you get it. Now for the first button of the collections tab, you have this little sorting mechanism, which I would translate the majority of it. But index, it means what kind of ship they are, what type of ship they are. Camp, it means if they're American, British. Just so you know, all these girls are based off of actual ships in real life. Some may be fictional, but I think they all are based off actual ships. But it'll show you if it's like United States, British, German, Japanese, whatever camp they belong in. And then rarity should be easy to tell, but that's their star rating. So if I were to do this and hit this, I get the nice little super rare people that I got. Now back out of the sorting mechanism, this right here shows me how many girls I collected from the total amount of girls that are in the game. The reason why I say in the game is because right here it shows that there is 307 girls that they are working on or creating in total to be in the game. So far they have 184 actually implemented in the game, and 40 of them I have actually collected and found. Therefore, my collection percentage is 21.7%. If you want to, you can divide 184 by 40. It should give you this percentage right here. Maybe the hundredths and the decimal as well. The second button right here was also sadly not introduced. This fourth button down here is basically an archive of all the story that you went through in the game. This being prologue, there's the prologue, story clips. This being chapter 1, and then chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, and these last three right here are not part of the chapters. I think these are like special like little scenes. This one right over here I do believe is events. This one right here being the Halloween event. And this last one right here also, if you'll let me click on it, come on, let me click on it. It's also another event page. This one may not be for holidays, this might be like some normal or more extreme in-game events that don't have nothing to do with the holidays, I do believe. But yeah, this is where everything's archived. Now that we went up to the 6 buttons up here, over here is the profile. Right here is where you go to the gem store, where you do in-game currency. And all the rest is pretty much already laid out in English, so if you're curious what it is, just read this little wording up there. This will show you current events are ongoing, so right now there's 2 events ongoing. And if I were to click it, it should bring up what that event is and what it does. Now this little panel right here, it just takes you to this little user interface where you can check about your sign-in rewards. You can click over here and claim your level rewards. Or you can click here and just see how far you're on your monthly rewards. As well as your first purchase. Once you actually make a purchase, you can click right here and claim everything, I do believe. As well as any time limited events that may be ongoing right now. Now that we're out of that panel, the only thing I have to go over, which is actually blocked out, where my mouse is over here by this black box, is the chat log. Now the only reason why the chat log is covered up is because I don't want anyone's names who don't want to be shown in this video to be shown. The next thing we have to go over is this little eye icon. If you were to click it, it brings up your girl front and center where you can click and drag, or if you're using a phone, just put your finger on the phone and just drag around the screen, and you can just watch her head go around and around. You can also click her once you're out of spectating mode. And she'll say something, I'm not exactly knowing what she says. One Arze Linkies actually does have a guide for what the characters say if you make them your secretary ship. Laffy is my secretary ship, so she's up here front and center, doing all her little cute stuff, saying whatever she's saying. Now, I won't translate what she's saying. If you're really curious, you can go on that one Arze Lane wiki and hope to gosh they have all the lines translated for your selected ship. Now the last thing I have to cover for the main menu user interface is up here, where your little girl's head is in the top left corner. If you were to click it, it will take you to your profile, which is what we're going to go over next. Now that we're in the profile, this thing over here that's blocked out in black is my personal ID code, so you can send me friend requests and stuff. I'm not going to show it. I don't want to be spammed out with a whole bunch of friend requests. But for the most part, both the wikis did not translate this. So the only thing I know for sure what it is this 21.7%. This is your how much you collected out all the girls in the game, like how many of the girls you have actually seen so far. And all the stuff that's already translated in English, such as share. We'll bring up 2 apps. I'm going to presume are Chinese apps, or apps that they use to share or talk to each other. If this was America, it would probably be like Snapchat and Twitter or Facebook. Over here where it says change secretary in the bottom left point of the screen is where you change your main girl that's out in the main menu user interface. And what I mean by that is if I were to change it to, let's say, this little devil kind of looking girl, because these look like kind of horns, but she looks really cool. I can back out of my profile and there she is. Now, she doesn't have a live TD mode, so if I were to bring back Laffy, here's Laffy, good old Laffy, there's an option for her to have a live 2D mode. Now, just so you know, as you saw there, not all girls have it. Very few girls, I do believe, have the live 2D mode. But if they do, you can enable it or unenable it. If I were to unenable it and go up here, now she doesn't have her live 2D mode where she would look at my mouse or anything. She's just her little flat image self there. So let's go back, turn on 2D so you know she's looking at the stuff being as cute as possible. And the last thing that I do know for sure is your greeting here. You can type in an English sentence if you want to, it won't stop you. Just know that it does have a system for blocking certain letterings that are beside each other. So if you have CUR, it blocks it. I don't know why, but it does. And that's it for the profile English guide. Now we're going to go over the real money currency store, which is at the bottom left side of the screen, where Laffy's holding up a little red gem, which is the currency, obviously. And if you have 600 red gems, you can buy this marriage ring, which I will explain later. You can marry the girls. Yes, you can. Then you can buy a little money, as well as drills to speed up the construction time of your ships, and then squares to build their ships. And these 2 down here, I'm not exactly sure what they do, but if I were to assume, I think 1 increases how many girls you can build, and then the other increases how many girls you can hold. I'm not for sure what these 2 down here do. You can leave in the comments below if you know exactly what these 2 do. And for gift, this is like little package deals. I bought one of the package deals, which is like 300 gems right there. And the reason why I did that is because 300 gets you 11 here. And this package deal, it had 10 of those, as well as like some drills and I think money, like little gold right here. If you're curious what this little thing over here is, this is the currency for China. And if you're in the Japanese server, this should be yen. All this is basically you're gonna spend real money to buy it. As you see right here, it brought up this thing, it's all in Chinese. I'm not gonna spend real money at all on here. And if you go over here to diamonds, this is where you spend more real money to buy the real money currency that is used in the game. Now for cloth, all cloth is costume for specific battleship girls that you may have. I'm not going to click on it just because of the fact that the screen is now covered in censor bars. Now it's not nudity or nothing, it's just because this is YouTube and YouTube is very strict. Now we're going to go over the Dockyard. So at the bottom left right here where it looks like a little sniper symbol and it's all nice and blue to make it stand out. It shows you all your girls right here. Now before we click onto a girl's profile and I explain what each little thing means and what it does as far as what you can do, I'm going to explain what we see right here already. This bottom line right here is the name of the girl in Chinese or Japanese. And this second red line right here tells you what fleet they are in. So from Chinese and Japanese, I believe that they use lines right here as numbers. So 1 line in both Chinese and Japanese should mean they're in fleet 1. So this girl, this one, and her over here, they're in fleet 1. And these girls with 2 lines, it means they're in my 2nd fleet. And these girls right here don't have any lines. What this means is that they are on a current mission right now. If you watch my main menu user interface, little English guide of it, you know that I currently had a mission going on. That's what this means. This means that these 2 are in a commission currently right now. Now if I go on the very top, this right here means Dockyard. That's kind of obvious. This right here means how much I can hold. I have 21 girls out of a possible 150 I may have right here at any time. Now if I had 150, the scroll bar would be pretty damn big and I would have a hell of a time to figure out who's better or not. Now this button right here where it says off, if you were to click on it, this will display all the stats easily so you can see who's better than who. This first one is their health. This second one right here is their shell damage. This third one right here is torpedo damage. This fourth one right here is air power. And this fifth one right here is anti-air power. If you're to click on again, it displays more stats. This first one's light armor, medium armor, heavy armor. Since I have all three, I'll show you exactly which one's which. Now, I'm sorry to say the Japanese ones have different characters, but if you have the same girls as I do, or you at least have a light and a medium one, and you know that one's light and one's medium, then you should be able to figure out what the heavy set of characters look like. But for the Chinese, this means light armor, this means mini armor, this means heavy armor. This next symbol right here is how fast they reload. The second symbol right here is their evasive. And this third little set of characters right there is how much fuel they consume when they go on the mission. This final set of characters right here is their total overall strength. The overall strength is basically some kind of formula that tells you, oh, with all these stats, they are 1,060 strong. Now, if you click this a third time, this shows you what kind of skill they have and then what level it is. Now, I know it all says the same character, which is probably just means skill, but its color dictates what kind of skill it is. So if it's red, it's offensive. If it's blue, it's defensive. And if it's yellow, it's support. Now the level on the side shows you what level the skill is. And if we go back and click this again, now it's off and we can see all the beautiful portraits. Now if we click this little arrow symbol right over here, it shows you your girls by. Now the girls that are in the fleet, they're in their own category, which is really nice, so you don't have to go looking for your girl for all this little jumble. Instead, the very first set of girls with the fleet symbols, you know, like fleet 2 or fleet 1, will be listed here by lowest to highest. Now commissions do not count for the fleet category, they go down with the regular girls, so if I hit from highest to lowest, you'll have all the fleet girls back up here, but then you'll have the commissions, and the reason why is because these commission girls are higher than all these other regular girls, so they're up here. Now this third button right here, the little category, I have to bring back my little translation I did on my own. Now that I went over all the little button user interface out here outside in the dock, we're going to go inside on the character's profile. But right here, this shows us their complete stats as well as what they have equipped currently. We're going to start from bottom up. So if we click this bottom one right here where it says help, I will try to quickly translate what it is showing. So this right here is showing what reinforcing is and how to reinforce your girls. Reinforcing is increasing a particular stat, as you see here. They're increasing her maximum torpedo stat damage by consuming these girls down here. On the second page here, it shows you how to limit break your girls. Basically, limit breaking is how to upgrade your girls from like 3-star to 4-star. You can either consume the exact same girl, or you can use 2 special characters in the game that are used for limit breaking, such as the 2 girls I showed on the front screen that were in a commission. Finally figure out that this first one right here, it does more damage against light armor ships. The second right here does more damage against medium armor ships, and this third shell right here does more damage against heavy armor ships. And on this fifth final page, it's showing that the more you use the exact same girls in a mission consecutively really quickly, the morale goes down. And when the morale goes down, they get less affection. Obviously right here is showing you the affection goes down, so if your affection always hits 0, you can't marry them, lose less experience, and their stats are lowered, I do believe. To prevent that, you can put your girl into the backyard, which we'll go over later. Now that we're out of the help menu right there, if you were curious what the actual name of your girl was in English, worry not, it automatically tells you right here. She is the USS Long Island. We can start clicking on these other buttons, such as this one. It just shows me what her CG looks like. The second button here is pretty obvious, it locks the girl. Locking the girl means that you won't accidentally sell her. The third button right here is people's reviews over the character. Since I can't read Chinese and I'm already blocking this whole section on the left, I don't know what they're saying, what these people are saying. I know that people are liking it and you feel like dislike it. It's probably saying like, put this kind of equipment on her, she's really good, or something like that. I'm not for sure. This fourth button right here shows you different character arts they may or may not have. Now, this one right here, just a little censor bar because it might be too much for YouTube. Now for this fifth button up here, this is where you can check where your relationship gauge is. As you can see right here, I have 54 out of a maximum of 100. If it hits 100, it's telling me I can give her a ring and marry her. When you marry a girl, Azur Lane Wiki number 1 will show us what happens. So once you marry them, by getting the first time you get a girl maximum affection, you get a free ring. But after that, you have to buy all the other rings for 600 diamonds, which is the real world currency for the game. Now, as an example, it's showing you that has to be 100. If they had 9 out of 100, you cannot marry them. Now, once you have her to 100, the little heart on the screen, not a heart, this button up here, if you click this, this should have your marriage certificate instead of what's on here right now. Now, in that marriage certificate, you're actually able to rename your character. Now, since I haven't married a character, I don't know where that button would be located, but you're able to rename them, so you just put their name here, you click the check mark, and you hit the yellow thing, and you can rename the character to an English name. As an example, right here you can see they named it Babe of Wolves. Now the card is also surrounded by a little frame showing that you married them, and has a little special glowing effect to it, and it's just like, yeah, you worked hard, you married her. After you marry the character, certain ships will also unlock a special wedding dress, CG. Battle Sprite is when you're actually in the way anchor mode, and you're fighting whoever the heck you're fighting, and you're moving the girls around, and her actual physical appearance there will change into the wedding dress one. The specialist ships, according to Azur Lane Wiki number 1, says it's this one, and this one. I'm not going to click on them. You can click on them yourselves if you want to know what those girls are. Alright, now we're going to go over what's over in the attributes and equipment. So starting from the bottom up, this is the skills that they have. And luckily for us, Azur Lane Wiki number 1 has separated all the girls by name. So since we know her name is the USS Long Island, we can go over and find her name. Oh, there it is. She's a light escort / carrier ship, I guess. And if you click on Long Island here, which is what I'm going to do, it should show this page right here. We have our CG Long Island right there. We have the Refort CM version, Japanese version, and then this one that had the sensor. Over here it gives you her number, so if you're going to your collections and you go by number, she should be number 70. Shows you her nation, shows you what kind of ship she is in the game, her rarity. If you're building ships, you can actually tell if you're going to get a certain ship by how long it takes to build them, as well as shows you the drop location. Further down below, it gives you the possible maximum stat for that girl. So we know at level 1 she has 782, but you may not know that if you get her the max, her health can go to 4,043. Down here it tells you the slot proficiency, as well as what kind of equipment they come with, and as well as what kind of equipment you could replace it with. So her first primary slot or her main slot would be a fighter. Her secondary slot you can only put dive bombers in, and her third slot you can only put anti-air guns in. And further down below is her actual skills, which is probably important since it's all in Chinese and you can't understand what it says. But if we were to look here, it says that 5% of activation when launching an airstrike. The next airstrike becomes available immediately. So there's an airstrike ability when you're fighting, and if you click on it, there's a 5% chance that you can immediately use it again. The second skill that you can unlock is after every airstrike, increase the air power of other carriers by 5%, last 8 seconds. And if we go back to the ship list, Azur Lane Wiki number 1 has told us all the known carriers that they know of that are in the game. Now, just in case you don't know, anything that's read out right here are information they have not filled in. So if I were to click on the Kamikaze ship, it'll say right here that the article Kamikaze is not found. So what do you do if you have her but you don't know what her skill says? Believe it or not, Azur Lane Wiki number 2 has all the skills that they know of right down here. So if you can't go to the character list or the ship list that's in Azur Lane Wiki number 1, then you go down here and try to find their picture, and then you can just read what the skill does. Now, if you don't know their picture, you can look over here, find the name of your ship, and then you can compare it. So if we go over my quick explanation, this right here is health. Depends how much damage you can take. This right here is armor. Now, depending on your armor and what kind of shelling is going against it, you may reduce damage or take more damage. This type of shell right here going against light armor, you do more damage. If it was mini armor, but you have this type of shell right here, you would do more damage against medium armor. And finally, but not last, if you have this third shell right here, you would do more damage to heavy armor. Since she is a light armor ship, she would take more damage from the first type of shelling as shown. Over here is reload rate. The Azur Lane Wiki number 1 mentioned that if it's below 100, then you're going to take a penalty cost. If it's above 100, you're going to get a bonus rate for reload speed. This next symbol here is shelling power. Since she's an aircraft carrier, she does not shoot, shelling. After slapping right, I go to my next ship, which is San Diego, apparently. But she does use shelling power, and what this does is increase damage for your main and secondary battery. She doesn't have a secondary battery, she just has the first main one. So this 30 plus 5, the 5 comes from the equipment, and the 30 is how much damage it can do. This next one is for torpedo damage. As you can see here, instead of having a secondary battery, she has torpedoes instead, so this increases how much torpedo damage she does. This next one here is her evasion. Evasion increases your chances to miss a shell. So if you really suck at dodging stuff, you might want to get a whole bunch of destroyers and just, you know, keep your evasion high so you can just dodge all the bullets by chance. This symbol down here shows how much damage she does to aircraft passing by. When you're fighting in the battle, you have a ring that's around all the ships you control. Within that ring, these anti-aircraft guns can shoot at incoming planes, and this dictates how much damage you do to them. If we swipe left to go back to the girl where we're on, this next symbol here is air power. Air power basically shows how much damage you do with their dive bombers and torpedo bombers. And this last symbol right here, which all girls have, is how much fuel they consume when you put them out in the fight. So if I were to send out here, I would get 3 taken off of my 3,212 fuel. If we go up from her stats, we can see what level she currently is and how much more experience points she needs to get to the next level. She's level 24, and she needs around 381 more to level up to the next level. From above that, this shows you her total strength. I don't know what formula it uses to calculate all these round numbers to show you how much strength she has, but if she were to put up against someone, they'll see that she has 744 overall strength for this particular ship. Above that is equipment, so we go more in depth when I click the equipment tab, but over here it says quick change. Now if I were to click this quick change button, which is why I changed to a different girl, you can bring down all these little slots where you can say what you have currently equipped, as well as de-equipping what you have on. So now she has nothing on, but if I were to click this button on the right, it will put on what she had. But if I were to save in the second slot, discard everything I have on, and then click that, it will save basically nothing. So that's how you empty that out. Just to show you what I mean by you can't discard her equipment while she's in a fight, I'll click the discard all button and it's like, hold up, you can't do that. She's in a mission or out doing a commission. But you can resave your gear here and can't re-equip nothing because you can't change your gear, so you just save what you have currently equipped 3 times over. Now going to the second button over here, it lists all the equipment they can do. Now all this equipment changes based on the girl, so if you really want to know what she can have, we can go back to Azur Lane Wiki number 1 of the ship list. So her name is San Diego, and I know personally that she is a light cruiser. So we will go down here, and there she is, San Diego. She's blue, so her profile is there. And down here, if we scroll down a little bit, where it says equipment type, it shows us what she comes with and what I can change her stuff into. So for the first slot, I can get her a light gun or a medium gun. In her second slot, it has to be torpedoes, and her third slot is anti-aircraft gun. Now, if you're curious what these things over here, these are called auxiliary items, I think. That's what they're called. You just put pretty much anything there, but since she's in a mission, I can't just go in there and change it. But auxiliary items are like fire extinguisher, little wall paint things, which I guess increases her armor, and other like mischievous items, stuff like that. And before I forget, if you look over here, it shows you what kind of shell she has. And I'll bring up another girl that has a different kind of shell. So going to Prince Ugin, she has the secondary shell, so I would say she does more damage against medium armor. Now going back to San Diego for the third button option, this is limit breaking. So right down here, you would add repeats of her or those other 2 girls that I was talking about earlier. You add 2 of them and you would just increase her to her next rank, which would be the 4th star. Now over here it tells you how much it increases it by, as well as the different limits. So for limit break number 1, this is what she would do. She would just, shoot out, I guess, more bullets. For limit break number 2, she could shoot out 2 torpedoes at once instead of just 1 line of torpedoes. And for limit break number 3, she could shoot out 2 bullets consecutively instead of just like 1 lane of bullets. Now using San Diego again for the 4th button, this is called reinforcing. Now if you see here, these are the stats that we can reinforce, such as shelling damage, torpedoes, and reload rate. We go here and we just like add some random girls. We'll just do all of them because screw it, might as well. If we add these random girls, it'll show us what they'll do to increase it. So since this is 117 out of 30, it probably leveled it up twice. But it gives you an example right here what the max is for each one. So If I keep increasing it, it can't go beyond 100, so even though I can put more girls in there and just keep leveling up, it won't go past 100 amount for that stat. It won't go past 51 for torpedo and 41 for shelling. Now for the 5th bunny, as you can see here, it looks like a complicated mess of a research tree, which it is. But just so you know, only very Pacific girls are allowed this 5th option, which is why I had to go back to Long Island. Azur Land Wiki number 1 right here will show us exactly what ships are available for modification. All these ships right here are available. The blue ones you can actually click on and bring up the profile, the ones you can't. So you can see right here, Long Island's there, so she is available for this. You can pause right here and read what it has to say. So if you read that page, you can pretty much know what this is and what some of the skills may or may not do. For the most part, blue's defensive, red's offensive, yellow's support. So right here, I know it's health. This is reload rate. This is air power. But I have no idea what this is, no idea what that is. This one is, let me see, anti-aircraft. I had to go check her profile real quick. So some of these you can go back to your profile and check. So since it's 1220, that's 1220, that's health number 2. This is, it says 2 right here. This is the 2nd advancement, wherever that is. And this is just some more air power number 2. Over here, it looks like it increases air power and anti-aircraft, so that's cool. And as you notice down here at the bottom right, that's the materials you need. So I don't have the materials needed for this or anything else, but I do have the money, so I mean, at least I got 1 out of the 2 resources needed. And that's all there is for the English guide to the Dockyard. Next we're going to go into equipment. So right over here, we have equipment, design, destroy, and material at the bottom right. Up here at the top button, this right here is all. This right here is gun batteries. This right here is torpedoes, anti-aircraft, different kinds of air power like planes, fighters, bombers, torpedo bombers. And this is auxiliary items. And we go back, it's all. Right here it tells you the so if they're 1 star, it goes all the way from 1 to 3 star. We hit the arrow again, it goes from 3 star to 1 star. Obviously if you have a 6 star, it'll go from 6 to 1. Over here it tells us how much equipment we have out of the maximum we can hold. So I actually have 111 equipments right here, so I need to sell some stuff eventually. So if we go into material, you can see my materials here. These are used to construct ships. These metals here are to trade in for other ships in the building tab. These here are to finish whatever you're building instantly. These here are different tier skill books. This is here for modifications. You know, for those very Pacific ships I do have in a lot. This here is when you're in the merchant store and you're exchanging items on the far left tab. It uses these as currency. These right here are used to upgrade equipment, which you can do. Back here in ship info, if you click this right here and you click this yellow symbol right here, you can zoom this book to upgrade the equipment. Or you can click the equipment right here, so if I were to refine it, right here, I can go here, click the yellow symbol, and upgrade it in the equipment tab itself. And that is all from the materials. So if we go to design, right here, if we have the necessary materials, we can make whatever equipment is here. So I have 1 out of 5 and 2 out of 5. I want to assume that is these skill books right here have 1 skill book, 2 skill books. So if I go back to design, you see there's like 1s and 2s, so it would use skill books to make these equipments right here. Now if I go back to the equipment tab, I have the option to destroy stuff, which I will do. I will destroy this, all of the 1 stars, because 1 stars are nothing now. And only let me sell to a maximum 40. So sell them, get 40 gold, and sell more stuff so I can open up more stuff. And then there we go. That's how you destroy equipment, and that's all there is for the equipment tab. Next we're going to go to the academy. And right here, it's already in Chinese, but we have Azur Land Wiki number 1 to tell us exactly what each building does. So if we go clockwise over here, we have the Tactical Academy, the Shopping District, the Canteen, the Merchant. If you scroll down, it will tell us what each building does. So example, for the Tactical Academy, this is where you can increase the skill level of skills by using skill book. And as follows, here's the 3 different skill books, and down here it even tells us so kindly as how much experience each one of these skill books gives us, as well as how much time it takes to upgrade those skills. If we go further down, here's the Shopping District. Now right here it shows 2 tabs, but in the current version of the game right now we have 3 tabs. And when I was talking about the equipment for that one particular material, Yes, that one looked like a Codex. If we go to the third tab, Exchange, there you can see it's a currency for some really just amazingly strong gear as well as a costume for a particular character. So we go back to Azur Lane Wiki number 1. It tells us specifically that the shop resets every 6 hours and that 10 items are randomly picked to have random cells on them. But once you buy the item, it's grayed out, so you can't buy it again. But if we go down, it actually tells us the canteen merchant gives us oil and gold, which is pretty self-explanatory. But it shows us that like which level, how much canteen oil or how much oil it makes, and how much gold it gives us, and how much it increases our maximum storage, as well as how long it takes to fill up, assuming if you were at 0 oil and you were relying on just a 60 oil per hour, it'll take 5 hours to get your maximum storage cap, stuff like that. And so that is all for the Academy. The only other thing that I can mention is that event characters will show up here, and if you click their bubble, it will take you to something that's related to them. In this case, I'm assuming that this quest is related to her, for her event 2 or 3 days ago. The Halloween event was still open, she was around here, I clicked on her, and she took me to the actual event quest. So that's all for the Academy. Now we're going to go into the backyard, which has notification, and my girls leveled up. So after you saw my girls level up, I'm going to go to Azur Lane Wiki number 2 to help me explain this even better. So as you saw, I had only 2 girls in there. But if I wanted to increase them, I would then go here and then click this little target symbol here and then buy these grayed out spaces. If I were to buy out these grayed out spaces, the first one would be 300 real game currency, so the red diamonds. The second one, even though we'll show it, would be 500. And then the third one would be 800. So back in Azur Lane Wiki number 2, it states like what the space is and that the girls can sometimes interact with the objects that are inside. But it tells us in specific how much it costs to expand that space. So if I were to go here and I want to increase my space, I would click this and then pay 100 gems, I do believe. Let me see. Yep, I would pay 100. If I want to increase it a second time, I would pay 500. And if I want to increase it the final time, I would pay 1,000. And if I want to increase it more, I can get second floor for 500 real game currency, the red gems here as it states. But the girls are up there will not gain experience, but they will increase morale. Scrolling down, you can see how much each snack will give you. For this bar right here, which is supplies, this thing drains as they, eat the snacks and gain experience. So I can get to a maximum 40,000. Right here, it even tells you how much it increases it. So this will increase by 1,000, this increase by 2,000, all the way up to 20,000, where just 2 of these will fill up this whole bar. All the way down here explains in more depth what you can do with the furniture and coins besides expanding the room. You can also go into the shop. If we're back here, the shop is right here, it even says shop, and this is where you can go by category, by what you see in these pictures, or you could actually just go in and get like wallpaper, flooring, little just mischievous items, more mischievous items, and then windows, stuff that goes onto the wall. Over here explains that not only are you going to get furniture that looks nice, but it improves your comfort stat, and the higher your comfort stat, the higher the EXP bonus gain your girls would get. So let's say if you had 4 up here as your comfort as your comfort score, and they're probably not going to get as much EXP as they could. Now back in Azur Lane Wiki number 2, it tells us how to increase our comfort level, which is just by buying furniture. You don't even have to place it to get a comfort level. The only thing you should know though is that there's a limit on the items that grant comfort for each category, and I'm pretty sure it shows it right here in the table below. So if I didn't expand my room, I got a maximum of 20 furniture, 16 mystics, 1 wallpaper, 1 floor, 61 objects, 2 carpets, and collection rewards 8. The only other thing that you might want to know from here is that if you click on this, this is where you can like move and change objects, positions, and place them. Click check, be like I'm done. Click this back arrow to get out of it. And yeah, if you want to change the name of your backyard, you can go up here. I changed it back into backyard for the sake of this video, so you know this is the backyard. But last but not least, we have this little sharing symbol right here. And just like I said when I was going over the profile with y'all guys, these are probably Chinese apps that are popular that they use to, share stuff. If this was America, again, it'd be like Facebook and Twitter or Snapchat, something along those lines. And that's pretty much all that there is for the backyard. Now we're going to go over the task button. So if you go in here, it will automatically list all available tasks that we can do, or quests, whatever you want to call it. But if we go to the first button, this will show us all the story tasks. The second button will show us all one and done tasks. So basically, once you do it once, it's done. You can't redo that task. The third one will show us daily tasks. And then the fourth one will show us weekly tasks. While the sixth button will show us limited tasks. So like time event tasks. And if you saw in the academy, when I click on the girls bubble, it led me here. So I'm definitely going to assume that this has something to do with that event. We're going to go to our Azur Lane Wiki number 1, which will basically go more in depth about the one-time tasks, the daily tasks, and the weekly tasks. For the one-time task, it's important to know that every sub-chapter, or basically 1 and 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, those are sub-chapters. The quest actually repeats for each one. Same for hard mode, it repeats for each one of those sub-chapters. And the Ring of Promise, once you get someone up to 100, it doesn't repeat, that's it. You get 1 free Ring of Promise and that's all. If we scroll down to the daily tasks, it shows right here, it tells us the repeated daily tasks that they have recorded. So if I go here, you can pause, look, pause, and then look, pause, and look. Now for the weekly tasks, this changes weekly, and it tells you exact time. Weekly tasks, like daily tasks, reset midnight, CST, UCT plus 8 on Monday. If you look right here, you can pause and read. Pause and read again. And then finally it's telling us that the all task button, which is the 5th button, just lists all currently available tasks. While the final task is more event exclusive, where it literally says right here, time limited event quests appear. Due to it being limited time in nature, it's better to check this section for any current time events. And that is all for the task button. Now for the building button. For the building button, we're going to refer to one of our good old Azur Lane wikis. And for that, we're going to go to Azur Lane wiki number 1. So right here, it shows us that there can be a possibility of 4 options, but currently, possibility of 3 options, as you can see right here. This one right here goes in more depth what each option can possibly build. So the first option, right here, would be used for light ships. But light ships don't only just build, like, destroyers. It can also build, like, cruisers, like carriers, monitors, repair ships. But that's the only option that does build destroyers if you want destroyers. The second option that looks like this is used to build heavy ships, but it can also build light cruisers, heavy cruisers, and monitors, but it's the only option if you want to build battle cruisers and battleships. The third option, which is an airplane symbol, is used to build aircraft carriers. But it can also contain light carriers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, repair ships. But it's the only option where you can get the escort, light carriers, and just carriers. As I said before, this fourth option right here is used to build event-related ships. But it is important to know that depending on the event, not all the ships you get out of there can be attained outside the event. So you might want to actually put all your resources during one of those event building times. Now for the sake of the video, I will build 3 little aircraft carriers because I want some more aircraft carriers, dang it. And as you see here, it automatically took me to the second button, and it gives me their cooldowns. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. It means that if I were to log off, I would have to wait an hour and 40 minutes until the ship is done building. But because I have these drills right here, I could just go like this, and boom, I crafted it. Now since she's a rare, what this option does right here, which you might have seen before. Alright, now that she's done saying her little monologue, what this option right here means is, do you want to lock her or not? Since she's rare, I'm going to probably not lock her because you get a lot of rares. Rares should be more like uncommons. Now we're going to lock this ship right here. And we got elite. And it's an aircraft elite too, man. We got lucky on that. I've been wanting to find an elite aircraft carrier. Now I'm going to lock her, so she's going to be locked. And then last but not least, hopefully, it's another rare, and I got it before, and I'm not going to lock her because I care less. Alright, I'm going to go with the 4th button before I go with the 3rd button, and I'll show you why. If we go to Scuttle, which is scavenging the ship, you're burning down the ship, and you're going to either take pieces or it just goes in the ocean, you don't care. In this case, since I do not like these common girls, or these 2 rare girls, I am going to scuttle all of them. Now, it is important to know that scuttling rare girls will get you these medals. And so now it just shows me all my girls. Make sure if I'm really want to scuttle them, I'm just yeah, I'll scuttle them. Now, the girls do come with items, so it's telling me if I want to scuttle the items. or scavenge the items that came with them as well. I'm gonna say yes, just so I can get rid of those useless items and go on my merry way. So I hit this back arrow, and now I'm back to the first button, and I'm gonna click the third button. Now, those medals that you saw me get is by scuttling girls. So the more girls I get that are useless and I scuttle, I build up these medals. Now these medals can be used to get girls ranging from super rare to elite to rare to common. In this case, if I were to use my medals, I'll probably use it on this aircraft carrier right here that's super rare. Or if I'm in dire need of items and just get, you know, whatever items I need. So enhancing equipment, modifications, enhancing skills, or making equipment. But yes, it's up to you what you want to change it for. If you want to know the actual exchange rate for destroying ships at certain ranks, I'll show you right now. Back in Azur Lane Wiki number 1, the comments are actually going to tell us exactly what it is. So this person right here says white equals 0 medals, blue equals 1, purple equals 4. And this dude right here adds on that scuttling a super rare ship gives you 10 medals. If we scroll back up, how much medals it takes to trade in for a girl. It'd be 1 medal for common, for rare it'd be 5 medals, for elites 30, and for super rare as you saw was 80 medals. And that sums up everything that's in the ship build. Now we're gonna do fleet, which is the last button at the bottom around here, so we're coming close to the end of this video. Right here we have option B. Option A is creating fleet, and option B is joining fleet. If we go to option A, it gives us a choice to join the Crimson Axis, or, well, guess what? The name of the game, Azur Lane, right here. So if we were to pick one, let's say I want to be a little bit evil, it'll take me to a creation for that allegiance. Go to Azur Lane, wiki number 1 to figure out what I'm doing. So, once you pick someone, you're asked to confirm as well as pay 300 diamonds in order to create the fleet that you can then name and recruit for. But, if you go to the second option, so right here, I'm pretty sure this is confirming, this is description, I think, of your allegiance, and this is where you confirm 300 gems. But if we were to back out and go over here, we will get a different list of fleets. Now, I'm going to black out all the fleets' names just for the sake of, you won't be able to know any of these people's names, because I'm pretty sure it shows like the actual names of the people that own the fleets and the name of the fleet. So I'll black them out just for, you know, the sake of them. But if it's blue, that's Azur Lane, and if it's red, it's Crimson Axis, and then you just kind of scroll down here. You get to see how many members are right here, what level the fleet is, and so on and so forth. But if you know the actual code of the allegiance, which you saw in over here, let's go back to option A, create a fleet. You see right here, redeem code. That's the code of your fleet, I will assume. And you type that in right here, and then that'll take someone immediately to your fleet. If you were to click this button over here, it'll just refresh all the different fleets, and you just kind of scrubber through for all the different amount of fleets there are. And we go over here, we can sort everything out. So right here should be random, I guess, or all. This one's Azur Lane, this one's Crimson Axis. This only shows me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only shows me 5 people there. This one shows me an extreme amount. So what I'm guessing this does right here at the bottom is a short list, long list, every fleet, Azur Lane, and Crimson Axis. And that pretty much sums up all of the fleet. Now we're going to go into formation. So let's go in formation. And then right here we have a little interface that tells us the overall strength of all the girls in this first line and the overall strength of all the girls in the second line. This right here gives us stats for shelling power, torpedoes, anti-aircraft, air power, and fuel consumption. And this is the total add-up. So if I send this whole team out, they're going to consume 16 fuel out of the couple thousand I have. And right here is overall strength. If I were to click on one of these girls from fleet data, and I look at this bottom number is their fleet strength. So if you add up 1,000, 153, 1,060, and 986, you get 3,200. Down here is where you can switch over to your second fleet and your third and your fourth, which is probably telling me requirements I need for them. I think if you progress in the story, it'll automatically unlock them. So in this case, 744 overall strength for the main row, which can only, using Azur Lane Wiki number 1, tells us that the main fleet can only consist of battleships, aircraft carriers, battle cruisers, light aircraft carriers, monitors, and repair ships. The scout fleet can only consist of destroyers, light cruisers, and heavy cruisers. So as we can see here, we have a battleship, we have a light aircraft carrier and an aircraft carrier. If I had monitors and repair ships, they'll be here too. If I look right here, the only things that are listed are my torpedoes, my light cruisers, and my heavy cruisers. That's all that's listed there. Now going back to fleet number 1, we can rename the fleet. So I named fleet number 1 Torpedo Squad, and fleet number 2 I have yet to name. Now for fleet number 2, since I have another aircraft carrier girl that I got just recently, I can go over here and then I can add her. If I do not feel like using this little 3D image screen they have so nicely planned out for me, I can click the second button down here. And as you see, this is now yellow. That's gray. This yellow. That's gray. Now it's yellow again. This is just another way of looking at it. So here's my main line. Here's my scout line. This still tells me all the average damage. Down here, instead of having an overall strength, I can actually add it up myself and see each individual girl's strength. But right here, it says I can add. If I click, I can add a girl. Back out. Back in my little secondary menu. But if I click on a girl I already have, it will actually take me to her ship info to where I can see her skill without having to go all the way back to the ship info to see where her skill is, read it. And also, this is where you can change equipment, look at the limit break skills, and what it changes when you do limit break her, as well as reinforce her equipment. And then we can back out and then just click this and go back to our previous screen. Now before I end this little one, I've noticed that this is abundant, and if you hit this, it doesn't really do anything. I don't know what this means. It didn't really mention it in either of their lane wikis, but if you know what this means, you can translate that down below. And if you're saying that me clicking this button is screwing things up, then I guess I'm screwing things up. But that's it for the formation. Definitely not least, we have Way Anchor. Now if we go Way Anchor, this is where you go out and you battle, as well as seeing the star rankings you have for each sub-chapter, as well as the whole chapter entirely. I will go over each one step by step. First thing first, I will introduce this hard mode right here, since I'm going to go from left to right at the bottom. Hard mode, if you click it, you do all the stages in hard mode. Now you can only unlock hard mode once you cleared every chapter. You have to have 3 stars. Next up we have Daily Raid. Daily Raid is based on time, but since today is Sunday, every single one's open. Now, if you see these numbers down below here, that's based on the following day in the week. So they go by Monday to Sunday. So 1 is Monday. Tuesday is 2. So this one's open on Tuesday. And then this one is open on Wednesday. And then resets. This one's open on Thursday. This one's open on Friday. This one's open on Saturday. And all 3 of them are open on Sunday. Up here, that's how many attempts you have for each one. So you have 3 attempts, so if I go here and I do 3 of these, I'll be done. And it shows right here just to remind me you only got 3 attempts. Now each one of these, if you're wondering what each one does, we go to Azur Lane Wiki number 1, where it says right here, like I said, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, you have the Torpedo Challenge. And I'm not gonna read all of these. If you really want to, you can pause right here and read it right now. Alright, if you read all of that, good for you, because now I'm going to get a quick explanation. And if you're like, why do you just tell me you're going to do a quick explanation so I didn't have to read it? I want to be a troll this time. Sorry. But this first one right here is a torpedo challenge. Basically, you just gouge torpedoes. Now, it was hinted that if you use the aircraft ability, you could just clear all the torpedoes which you can. So, if you bring 3 aircraft ship girls and use the aircraft whenever there's too many torpedoes on screen, it will wipe the field clear of torpedoes. That can also be used not just in this challenge, but in regular fights as well. The second one here is gouging explosive boats. Now, the only tricky thing with explosive boats is your flagship. Your flagship's in the back and does get damaged when an explosive boat passes by you. Because of that, if you lose your flagship, you will lose the challenge. So it is recommended to get torpedo girls, so you can torpedo the explosive ships away. Or you could use the more stronger heavy cruiser girls to take on ships head on to block some of those ships from hitting your flagship. The third one was hinted to be extremely hard. This is a boss rush. Basically, you're gonna fight multitudes of boss girls. And yeah, that's it. Once you defeat all the boss girls, you win. I don't know if this one's time. I can check real quick. This one's not time. If I didn't mention, the explosive one is time. So once the timer runs out, you win. Torpedo challenge, once the timer runs out, you win. And if we back out Daily Raid, we will now go to Commission. And I've been hinting at Commission for a while now. Commission is very simple. Basically, you send available girls that you have out on a mission. Now, what you may not know is that these little number heroes are actually requirements. We go to Azur Lane Wiki number 1, where it literally tells us right here that the first text is the level of your ship, the second text is the required number of ships, and the third text is the ships that you're allowed to take on. You don't have to worry about the third text as much because, as you can see here, I'm pretty sure it says all, but it feels specific. And I gone into here, I can only pick those certain girls. I can't just pick any girl I want. But you do have to make sure these two texts line up. So this is level, and this is how many girls you need. So I need 3 level 10 girls. And if I go in here, I do not have 3 girls that are available who are level 10. And while they're on a mission, you can click here, or actually, when it's going like that, it means they completed the mission. So yeah, complete the mission, and I'll send them onto a mission to show you what it's like. They only have to be level 1, only need 2 girls. I'll send the ones I just sent out there. They're at least level 1, they're above level 1 obviously. And then there's 2 girls, and it's good to go, and I hit OK. Click off, and now they're being out on the mission. Down here is time limited commissions. For time limited commissions, what it states here is while you battle enemy fleets in sub chapters, you make a notification telling you have a time limited mission open. And when it's open, you get the decision to actually do it, or just be like, I'm too tired to do it. But it does say that it tends to have rewards, which do not appear in regular commissions, such as skill books or even new ships. Now for exercise, and exercise is probably what a lot of y'all guys are looking forward to. Over here, you see a lot of black bars here, and the reason why is because this is PvP. Yep, PvP. Pretty self-explanatory. Down here is the team you're going to be fighting with. Here is your ranked list. If we go to supply, this is where we're taken back to the merchant, and you see this little swords. The cross swords is the arena currency you get for winning battles and for being highly ranked. If you want a more in-depth detail over exercise, you can pause here and read. You can pause here and read this, as well as this. Now we're out exercise. This is where all the real magic happens, which is fighting. So let's gonna go over here, and we're gonna do one that I've cleared. I had 2 out of 3 stars. Now first thing first, you might be curious what you need to do these stars. The first one says you need to defeat the boss ship in the sub chapter. Second one states how many ships you need to destroy. So in this case, I had to destroy 12 fleets. Now you can go back into it and destroy more and more ships to build up to 12. It does carry over, so you don't have to worry about destroying 12 ships all in one run. The third one is destroying all ships in one run. If you want the 3rd star, you do have to destroy all the fleets on the map before killing the boss. If you kill the boss, it automatically ends the map, just in case you didn't know. Here it lists possible rewards as well as fuel consumption. Now just so you know, even though I'm consuming 10 fuel there, I'm just consuming more by taking in these fleets and using them. Alright, now that we're in here, the first thing you see is all the girls in their fleet over here. Here is the main line and then the scouting line. I forgot what they were actually called. And the green arrow here signifies which character is actually being selected and used. So if I click on this tile, she just moved this question mark and gave me a random item. But if I click on the second girl as I did, shows me the main fleet and then the scouting fleet, and then I can move her as I will. Now before we go into fight, we'll look right here where it says we have plenty of ammo. Basically, it gives us a, oh gosh, I have to click. Basically, it gives us a buff for having plenty of ammo, which I don't know what they are translated. Increases their stats by 10%. Now for formations, we click this little arrow over here on the far middle right, and it lists us possible formations. Now for each formation, we will go to Azur Lane Wiki number 1. Where it shows us right here that line ahead, this formation right here, increases the firepower and torpedo by 15%, but at the cost of 10% evasion. So if you're using destroyers that have a really high evasion, you may not necessarily want to do this line formation. Instead, you might want to do the double line, which is 30% more evasion at the cost of 5% firepower and torpedo damage. So even though your torpedoes may do 5% less damage as well as your shell power, they're relatively low, so your loss is not too much. Besides torpedo power, it is kind of high, but since it's 5%, with the increase of 30% more evasion, it gives you more leeway to get hit. Now for the diamond formation, which is this one, down here, you get 20% more anti-aircraft damage. So if there's someone going after you, let's say, if you use battle formations and PvP, which I have not done yet, but if you are able to, and all three of their main scouts are aircraft carriers, you might want to do the diamond formation to do more damage against their aircraft. And then the fourth one right here is repair kits. It's not a formation. Instead, you have a small chance, like that question mark, to hit on and I got a box. You could have got a repair kit, and a repair kit repairs your ships by a very small amount. We'll recorrect ourselves. So since these are all heavy cruisers, they're more damaged than they are evasive. They're very low evasive to begin with. We'll just go with firepower. For this fleet over here, fleet number 1, we're going to want to do the double line formation. Now that I went over formations and buffs and stats and stuff like that, as well as fleets, I'll go over these buttons down here. If you hit withdraw, you'll be taken out of this little chapter here. So maybe you accidentally clicked the go for button to actually go into the sub chapter. Well, maybe you need to change all the gear, so you just hit withdraw, and then you can change all the gear and then go back into the sub chapter mission. Switch over. It's just a quicker way of switch over your fleets. So if I didn't want to actually click them individually, I could just click switch over. Offensive, I think this has to deal more with PvP or maybe way later in the game. But offensive, they're permanently switch on offensive because we are on the offensive, we are not defending. And it does pretty much all that for buttons. Now for symbolism, if I click this help thing right here, this tells us what kind of ships we expect when we fight enemies. So right here, we will expect destroyers, light cruisers, maybe heavy cruisers. I don't think we will. Over here, this means we will expect battleships. So, you know, battleships, battle cruisers. Over here, we will expect an aircraft carrier. This ship right here means merchant ship, so you will get some money if you go in there and kill it. So if you see one of these, you usually want to go after them. And this one right here symbolizes that it's a boss. Even says in English letters, boss. But that means that that's the boss of the chapter. And if you are trying to go for that 3rd star, where you destroy all the fleets, if you still have another fleet that's not the boss, you might want to go there and kill it before you attack the boss. Down here shows you the strength of the fleet you're going after. So think of this as like easy, normal, and then hard. So this fleet right here, they're about to attack, is easy. So let's go over there and then attack it. Alright, now it's going to tell me my lineup here, as well as rewards and my targets. Since this is all in Chinese and you won't have translations for it, you're going to have to base your stuff off of what you see here. So I noticed some kind of battleship here. I noticed like a heavy hitter in here. Now, if I want to retreat, I'll hit retreat. And as I do want to retreat, I'll say yes. And now that whole ship is out of the game. You can only retreat when you have 2 fleets. You cannot retreat when you have 1 fleet. The retreating option does not kill the fleet. That's just it's a fast way to retreating when you know you're going to lose. Because once you click on a ship, you can't retreat. You have to hit withdraw. And if you hit retreat, the fleet goes away. You have to fight if you click. So if you misclick on a enemy unit, you're going to have to fight them. Alright, and now it's telling us that new enemies spawn, and it's time for me to go my very way and kill some more. Now, if you see the symbol right here, 4 out of 5, since I just destroyed a fleet, I can only destroy 4 more until I run out of ammunition. But in certain maps, not all maps, in a certain map, I can go over here. Oh, I got bombed. There is a random chance to get ambushed by planes, as well as getting ambushed by a whole entire fleet. So now I'm at 5 ammunition. I'm gonna go over here, and then destroy this aircraft carrier. Alright. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And now we can go back here a second time. I think it only allows you maximum 2 times to refill, and then it's like data. Oh no, it says right here 1 out of 3. Alright, so we have another chance to go in there and just refill some more. Well, since they just tend to freaking kill everything. Oh, and the boss spawn. That's cool. Here's the merchant ship. Azur Lane Wiki number 1, as you can see right here. You can pause here and read. Down here it talks about the different bottoms that were at the bottom left side of my screen. And in their example, it was at the bottom right side of the screen, which is the default placement of all the buttons. Alright, now for tips for the game. Before, I was just, kind of like messing around, just screwing around. So I got shot by more airplanes. Oh my gosh, my girl needs to be repaired. Now, when it shows repair symbol, you can actually repair them. I think 1 time for free if you click this. and now she's fully healed. I'm not actually getting ambushed by any fleets, which is surprising. It's just getting bombed. I guess it depends on the map if you can get ambushed or not, but we're gonna attack this merchant ship right here. Everything looks nice. I mean, everyone's damaged, but it is what it is. Alright, now in Azur lane wiki number 1, it purposely, there we go, now I can move it. It was on auto. But it purposely said that this help bar only shows for mini bosses and bosses. It actually shows for both, so if I shoot this belt right here, you can see how his health bar is showing up here. That's because that's who I'm attacking currently. So it just shows you the health bar of whoever you're actually attacking. Now, since I'm using heavy cruisers, my suggestion is to keep them in the back since they move really, really slow. So that just decreases your chances of being hit by stuff. Being back here using torpedoes is also not too bad of an idea. Using planes to remove torpedoes is another tip to do. Now, if you want to do maximum damage to bosses and sub-bosses, I recommend going up really close and then launching a torpedo. And we're just going to destroy everything, put on some MLG glasses because she's a boss. I think she's going to become my favorite character just because of MLG glasses. Alright, and we won that, and we go out here. Now, one thing that I can't demonstrate is the battle cruisers, so we're going to do it real quick by withdrawing the green. Now to draw, and then going back into it. So here we go. Since these girls are destroyers or light cruisers, they move very fast and can evade a very high rate. And because of that, you don't necessarily need to put them in the back, even though you can to increase your chances of dodging. But with these girls, you might want to stay more in the middle, because being in the middle will help you move in zigzag lines and actually increase your chance of dodging. So the most you want to do is usually move them just up and down, pretty frequently. The moment someone shoots, you can just change direction immediately. Now for the battle cruiser, it said in Azur lane wiki number 1 that you can hold this and just like kind of scope it out. Since I'm using a mouse and I'm not using the appropriate two, the 2 fingers on the touchscreen, I have to change my position. Now, like I said, since she's a boss, I want to do a lot of damage. I get close, use torpedoes, hit multiple times. These people are really close for torpedoes, so I'll use both of those. And I just want to do damage. I'm not going to use these to escape torpedoes since she's the last girl. I will summon the planes, and they will do a lot of damage for me. Look at that. And we did it. Alright, that is all I can teach for the English guide. If you do ambushes, just remember, in an ambush, you will be prompted up with a window that will tell you that you're getting under attack. The tutorial goes over this, but just in case you forgot, if you hit the silver button and you're automatically put into a fight, that means your retreat failed. If you hit the silver button and then it disappears and there's no ambush pop up, that means your retreat succeeded. If you hit the gold button, you automatically attack the ambush fleet. Now, before you go into the fight, there's a % number. That percentage is basically your chance of winning. So if it's like 90%, or even if it doesn't say percent, it just says 90, just compare that to 100%. So it says 90, you have a 90% chance of winning, and that's pretty much it. So that is all for the way anchor menu. Now, I didn't go over the chat log, obviously. I don't want to show no one's names. And it's pretty self-explanatory. When you open up the chat window, it enlarges the window so you can see everyone's profile as well as their secretaryship. It tells you their name and what they typed, and then you talk back. You do have to be level 10 to talk in the Chinese server. I'm not for sure on the Japanese server. I don't know why you have to be level 10 to talk. I guess it's to prevent spam or people just from logging in and like advertising themselves. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any more questions, I will take you to Azur Lane Wiki number 2. Frequently asked questions. Right here, you can pause and read if the bold letters is the question you have. You can pause and read for the final part of the frequently asked questions. Now, I hope with that all your answers has been solved. You now know everything. You shouldn't be confused about any interface. If you are confused, please just type down in the comments and I will just try to answer your question. Or maybe someone would just be like, hey, I know you didn't watch it all, just go to this part of the video and I'll answer your question. And I'll see you later, Fallen Gamers.